Hey, this morning you should have created a brand new program in Scratch with a background of your choice and a sprite of your choice, and it should have been named variable. So what we're going to do today is we're going to learn what a variable is. So if I come over here to the side, you'll see where the variable code is going to be that we're going to be working with. The first thing that we need to do is decide what we want our sprite to do. So one idea that I had was that we could have it do some mathematical conversions for whoever your user is, for your player. So the first thing you need to do is open up a new tab and find a mathematical conversion if you don't already know one. I'm just going to stick with the simple one of converting centimeters to meters to centimeters. So I need to just say convert meters to centimeters. And I just need to know what that conversion is. So it looks like I just have to multiply by 100. Again, you can do whatever conversion you choose. If you can't think of one, you're welcome to do this. Remember, the point is I want you to see how to do variables. So in Scratch, a variable is something that can change in your game. It can be a global variable or a local variable that is affected, like one sprite is affected or multiple sprites can affect it. So we're going to say to make our new variable, and I'm going to name this variable centimeters. So remember, we want to keep it simple, so I'm just going to name it cm for centimeter. And here you could choose that all sprites can affect it or just this sprite that I'm on, the monkey, can affect it. But I want it to be a global, so I'm going to say all sprites. And we'll talk more about the different kinds of variables. So I'm going to start with an event. You can choose what event you want to start your program, but I'm going to have it be that when the green flag is clicked, and then I'm going to set my variable, which is called centimeters. I just want it to be set to 0 to start us off. That way it starts right at the baseline. Then I want my monkey to say something, maybe introduce himself to the player of my program, the user. I want him to say, hi, I'm going to call him the metric, metric monkey. Um, whoops, and I can convert meters to centimeters for you. Just give me a measurement in meters. Now that's a pretty long statement, and yours might not be exactly the same as mine, but I imagine it's pretty long. So if I click on that green flag and he says that, it doesn't seem like 2 seconds is enough. So I want to just check that out. You might want it to be more like 5 or even maybe 6 or 7. Just leave it on there and see if you feel like that's enough time to read that before you move on. All right, so now I just told my user to give me a measurement in meters. So I'm going to go back to that sensing that we worked on last time where you ask your user for something. And I'm going to say ask, and I'm going to say enter a measurement in meters. Okay, and remember I want them to be able to put in an answer, so I'm going to check that answer box over there. So now when I press that green flag, he says his hi, I'm the metric monkey. And then when he finishes, they have enough time to read that. He says enter your measurement in meters, and here they're able to do that. So then I come over back to my variable. This is where now once he gets that answer, I have to tell him what to do with it. So he's going to change that variable. So he's going to set the centimeters to be whatever they typed in times 100. So here I'm going to come over to that operator block that we used last time where I say answer equals. But I'm going to come up here this time. I'm going to use one of these actual operators, add, subtract, multiply, divide. And I'm going to say take their answer. Remember how to get their answer that they typed in. Take their answer and multiply it by 100 because that's how I get to centimeters. Okay, so now they've typed in their number and I, the monkey, has taken that answer and times it by 100 to say that now that's what the variable equals. So the last thing I need him to do is to tell that back to the user. So I'm going to grab a say block and I want him to say what that answer is. Now here's something new that we haven't used yet. In operators, if you scroll down a little bit, there's this thing called join. And I'm going to set it outside just for a second, because what I want him to say is that that equals, I want him to say the word that's, right? I want him to say that's, and then I want him to say the word centimeters. So I'm going to have him say whatever, or sorry, not the word centimeters, whatever the centimeters equals. So I want him to say that's the centimeters, and he'll give them their answer. So let's try it. If I type in 7, and he says that's 700. Now I actually want him to say that's 700 centimeters, right? I want him to say the word centimeters after, but my variable doesn't include that. It's just the mathematical number. So under operators, there's another, I'm going to grab another join, and this is pretty cool. I'm going to put this one, the first part into that one, and I'm going to add the abbreviation for centimeters, and then I'll put that back in there. Now let's see. What I want him to do now is to say that's the centimeters, but then with the word or the abbreviation centimeters. So if I do 8, and he says that's 800 centimeters. And it looks like I need to play around with some space bars. So after the word that's, I need a space. And before the word centimeters, I need a space. Okay, so what you need to do, this is just practicing using basic variable today. So then after you get that all set, then what you want to do is add some things, like maybe the monkey makes a motion, or maybe you even have a second sprite in here that after he does this, when I have a different event that starts it, maybe when I click the space bar, there's a different sprite that can interact using a variable with the user. So what I'm going to be looking for is that you're practicing using these variable commands today in code. Okay, when you're finished at the end of class, make sure you press Save Now, and then go out to your project page. Remember, you want to give instructions here so that whoever is your user knows how to get it started so that they can run your program. If you need to give any photo or note credits down here, you do that here. Make sure you don't forget to press the share button. And then on our Google Classroom assignment, the Scratch variable assignment, this right here is the link that you copy and give to me.